2020, all of us were in lockdown. All of us were scared for our lives, not knowing what would happen tomorrow. But it was that very year, me and my wife, Teresa, and she's here, were out on the streets looking for homeless people to rescue. I'd like to share, as I begin my talk, one such story, the story of Bharat. This beautiful human being was found in a bus stop, just sitting, lonely, no one to talk to, and fully grown hair and beard. And someone called us and told that there's this guy, he really needs help. He seems like an educated person. And when we went to the bus stop, we found out that he was an engineering graduate. And he was just sitting there in the bus stop. And when we asked him what happened, he said, I got bit by a dog. I had a dispute with my family and I walked out and I got bit by a dog and there's no one to care for me and so I'm here. Can you imagine just sitting there, getting wet in the rain, in your own loneliness, no one to talk to, in your own isolation? Bharat was facing all of these emotions at the same time. This is how the same person transformed. I'm not sure you got it. This same person transformed into something like this. We rescued him, we got him to our shelter home, we gave him a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of medical help, nursed his wounds, and brought him to the person he is today. And today Bharat is a complete human being, and he helps out in the home. Okay, I think the slides got changed. Yeah, he helps out in the home, and you see the change. Now the idea I'd like to bring to you this afternoon is that a single act of kindness can make you a change maker. I'll say that again. A single act of kindness can make you a change maker. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go to 2014. This was me in 2014. Indian parents, if anything that you have to become in your life, it's either doctor or engineer. And so I was pushed into engineering, although I didn't know anything. Cannot even solve a math problem. But being a musician and into a lot of extracurricular activities, I was the fun-loving kid. I was the kid who everyone wanted to be around. And I was the kid where all the girls were around. And I can say it because my wife is here. And was into a lot of music, was into a lot of adventures. I'm a very adventurous guy. What's the haircut that Indian parents always approve of? It's called medium cut, right? You cannot have anything else. But I colored my hair, and I was doing all these things. How many of you guys like fast bikes and fast cars? Yeah? So very much into bikes and cars and speed. Speed fascinated me. So I was basically living life like fast and furious. Means I was always fast and my parents were always furious. And you know, there was this funny thing that, you know, something I'd like to call the generation gap. So I used to wear my pants here, all right? And these pants used to defy the laws of gravity. And the gap between this and this was called the generation gap. And that's how I used to live my life. But it was in the year 2014. One day, my life changed forever. I was driving my car, not this car, this is a Ford Mustang. I was driving a Honda City. I was driving this car at a very high speed, at almost a speed of 100 kilometers an hour. It was raining that day, and I was looking at the speedometer and driving. And that day, there was a huge tree that fell in the middle of the road. Now I'm at 100 kilometers an hour. I look up, I suddenly see the tree. And as I'm driving in that speed, I can feel the air coming in because the windows were down. I can feel the air coming in, and I have a feeling like I'm Michael Schumacher. I'm faster than life. But suddenly I look up, and there's this tree in front of me. My whole life pauses. And all these questions started coming to my mind. It says, if you die right now, where are you going to go? What did you do? You lived life selfishly for yourself. And then I lost control of the car. I slammed the brakes. It went to the left. It went to the right. It again went to the left and went into a death roll. It flipped 3 times and fell almost 50 feet away from the road. And this was the condition of the car, my friends. I was driving that car. I was in that car. I don't believe that this was coincidence. But I believe it was one person that saved me that day. It was one person who gave his life for me. His name is Jesus Christ. It was almost like he handed me life's golden ticket from above and said, you know what, here kid, here's your second chance at life. And he gave me that ticket and he said, what can you do for me now? This one incident changed my life and made me realize that our life has purpose. Each and every one of us sitting here today has a purpose in life. No matter where you're from, what caste, what creed, what denomination you're from, you have purpose. And I started looking out for that purpose in life. I started seeing people like this on the street. Some of the pictures you see are not very fancy, not the kind of pictures that you want to see, but this is the harsh reality of life. My purpose in life began to become about these people that were on the verge of death, that were filled with maggots in their body, that were suffering from HIV and TB and cancer. I mean, can you imagine any human being in such a situation? I started going to these people. I started asking them what they want, and the biggest need was shelter. And I thought, I came up with an idea. I said, what if I start a shelter home? What if I start something for these people? And I kept rescuing these people, putting them in different old age homes, started realizing that my purpose was for these people. And in the year 2017, we started Second Chance. The vision of Second Chance Foundation was born. And Second Chance Foundation is an NGO. It was started by me and my wife. And we run shelter homes in Hyderabad that house almost 150 people who have all been rescued from the streets of Hyderabad. Most of these people are found with mental illnesses, and they're found with terminal diseases, with broken bones. They're the people who will never look at you and smile. They're the people who have lost hope in humanity. And I've decided to take a stand for these people. But when I started off, there were people that told me, you can't do this. My dear young change makers, don't let anyone tell you that. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Because if you have a dream, and if you sincerely work towards that dream, and if that dream is focused on bringing change in someone's life, that dream will come to fruition. This is my guarantee to you. We started off with one small home in Hyderabad, and within a span of 1 year, the strength grew to 3 homes and 100 plus people. So the need was so much that we had to do much more. Now I want to show you a few transformation stories that have happened over the years. This is my 10th year of doing this work. I started off in 2014, and this is 2024. And coincidentally, this is my first TED Talk, and I'm so excited to be here. I want to show you a few transformation stories that have happened. Meet Sandeep. Sandeep was found outside of a government hospital. His hand was amputated, and he was in a rather horrible condition. We picked him up, we got him to our home, we gave him a shave, we gave him a bath, and you can see he doesn't even have an ounce of flesh on his body, but he does have a tattoo that says Harshita, right? So basically love failure case. Now this guy transformed after months of treatment into something like this. If you like the transformation, I want you to shout out loud. Is that okay? All right? Meet Meena. Meena was found in she's actually from North India. She came to Hyderabad for some work. She ended up with some kind of a head injury, became mentally unsound. The cops got her to my shelter home, and my wife and the female staff did their magic on her. Are you excited to see how she is now? Come on, Sandeep, you can do better than that. This young gentleman was found on the road, and I believe that 2 or 3 more days and he would have died on the street. So we went, by the help of the cops, we rescued him. So I'm the chief ambulance driver of my NGO, right? This is how we transformed into. Kindness costs us nothing, but it means everything. It means everything to the people that you will encounter in your life. Last one. Rather horrible condition. Got a call, we went, we rescued him. This transformation will blow your mind. Are you ready? And these are not photoshopped images. These are real images of real people that have stayed with us. Some of them have passed away. Some of them are still with us. One such story I'd like to share. Remember I said kindness costs us nothing but means everything. This gentleman was found below his own daughter's house, like this. So he met with a rail accident and somehow got to his daughter's doorstep, but she would refuse to take him in. We went to the scene. Believe it or not, the same lady called us and said, there's a homeless man below my house. We went there, we picked him up, we got him and we transformed him. And his one request was, I want to meet my daughter. I want to talk to her. You know, that act of kindness wouldn't have costed her anything. But she didn't do it, and that costed him his life. He passed away. Just in that sadness that he couldn't meet his daughter. This is our big family back in Hyderabad, around 150 of them. When you try to do good, when you try to be kind to someone, there is an opposing force, and there is evil that will come and attack you. And one such story I want to share is a story that me and my wife have just come out of recently. The month of April, I was rescuing this guy who was lying on the street with absolutely no skin or bones in a horrible condition, and we suspected that he had some kind of HIV or TB. So usually when I go to rescue someone, I check their vital parameters then and there. So I check the blood pressure, I check the blood sugar, and then I get them to the home. Now, I'm sure all of you are aware how do you check the blood sugar. We use a needle, right? So we draw blood, and then we use that blood on the machine to check. So when I poked him the first time, there was no blood that came. I poked him the second time, there was little blood that came. And when I was trying to poke him again to get sufficient amount of blood, that same needle that poked him, poked me. And now I got directly exposed to whatever this guy has. And it's something that I cannot undo. It's something that I cannot go back and replay. The doctor said, you need to test what this guy has so that you can get treated according to that. We tested him, we sent his blood for blood tests. It came out as HIV positive. And now I got directly exposed to HIV. And my heart was racing, it was a standstill, I couldn't even stand. I told my wife, she started crying. And then, I don't know if you believe it or not, but I believe that there is a big guy sitting up there. There is someone that protects you when you do something good. And it was a period of 1 month that I had to go through a medication, a rigorous medication, which made me very sick. I started puking, I started getting joint pains. And more than the physical trauma of it, the mental trauma. What if you get HIV? What if you die of that disease? What if you're never able to become a father again? These kind of thoughts that were running through my mind. Basically, the storm was ripping apart the ship inside. But believe it or not, me and my wife, except our families, no one knew about it. We got the strength to hold on. We got the strength to still continue doing what we do. And trust me, just last week I took my final test and I don't have HIV. Remember always, the battle is fiercest on the front lines. It's always the fiercest on the front lines of war. Many people ask me, how do you pick up people like this? How do you do what you do? I ask them this one question. Actually, two questions. Can we all read it out together? Here we go. If not now, then when? If not me, then who? These are the questions I ask myself every single day. And this is what drives me to pick up the people that have lost hope in humanity. To pick up the people that are dying like animals on the street. To pick up people who will just look at you and spit on your face. I've had people spit on my face. I've had people slap me. I've had people punch me from the back, kick me from the back. But love is the greatest language of all. They will not probably understand what I have to say to them. But when I serve them, when I give them the love and the care and the affection that they need, when my team gives them the love and the care and the affection that they need, their life changes for the better. And you have seen the transformations that happen. You know, many times when we look at small kids sold to bonded labor, when we look at females forced into slavery, we have this habit of clenching our fists, looking upstairs and saying, God, why don't you do something? I'm sure most of us have done that. I've done that myself. God, why don't you do something? When you see poverty, when you see people dying of hunger, God, why don't you do something? You know what God replies? He looks at you. He said, I already did. I created you. I created you. I've given you hands, I've given you feet, I've given you mouth, I've given you a mind to think. You are supposed to be my hands and feet. And so my idea today is that a single act of kindness can create this ripple and can create this change for someone who is needy, for this needy world. Most of you in this room are going to be future change makers, future catalysts in your spheres of life. But let me tell you, it all begins with kindness. It all begins with kindness. Would you like to be a steward of kindness today? Would you like to be the light in someone's darkness? Would you like to be the rainbow in someone's cloud? Would you like to be the answer to someone's question? And I stand here boldly telling you all of this because I'm not a six-footer. I'm not a hefty guy. I don't have a lot of biceps. But if I can do it, and we have rescued several thousands of people in the past 10 years from the streets of Hyderabad. If I can do something like that, I'm sure every single one of you sitting in this room can do much more than what I can do. In conclusion, I'd like to close by saying, these were the words of Winston Churchill. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And these were the words that I wrote just yesterday. I don't know if someone else has written it before that, but these were the words that came to my heart. It says, kindness is free. Let's give it to everyone we see. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and God bless you all.